Okay, I would like to call to order the March 12th, 2025 Explore Academy Las Cruces Governing Council meeting. We do have a quorum, but if Member Pahi, if you would go ahead and do a roll call for us.
Sure. Claire Mulhall,
Present.
Clara Riley,
Yes.
Linnell Packey, present.
Wonderful. And if we could go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I would like to go ahead and open it up for public comment regarding any item on the agenda. Please make sure that you state your name. Sorry, I'm trying to read this again. State your name, relationship to the school, and the agenda item at which you are speaking to. And also please limit your comments to 3 minutes at this time. And we do have somebody raising their hand. So if you would go ahead and unmute them or whatever you have to do in cyberspace, Karen, that would be great.
I can promote him to the panel if that's okay, just for this part. So Mr. Fan, we're promoting you to the panel. Please accept the promotion. There we go. You will need to unmute yourself and
Hi, John.
introduce yourself.
I also have Mr. John Solarzik here as well. We're at a conference, a charter school conference. So we got a conference room and taking this call together. And I'll let John Solarzik introduce himself, but this is John Fan from Campania Elite Group. I'm a financial advisor focused in the charter school space. What I do is I help negotiate interest rates and terms on behalf of the borrower and effectively the school as well on a fiduciary basis. I've been doing this for 24 years. The past 10 years, I completed 80 charter school transactions throughout the country, including transactions in New Mexico. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Solarzik.
Well, thank you. So my name is John Solarzik. I'm a banker with H.J. Sims. Our role is, so John Fan and I work together in roles where he is the advisor and I work as the underwriter. So our job is to interact with the investors and define basically investors and bonds. I have a similar length of experience to John Fan. I started in this industry in 1993, a long time ago. And we are, in terms of New Mexico, the last 6 publicly offered New Mexico charter school bond deals I was the banker on. And so I have a lot of experience in selling debt in New Mexico and for New Mexico charter schools. And glad to be here and answer any questions if I can.
Yeah, and I also want to add that we sent a list of potential questions, and you can feel free to pick any of them or not ask us anything. But you know, we as you know, we have a lot of experience with these types of financings, and we go to board meetings all the time, and a lot of these questions and gets asked often. So we just provide a list of questions that you may or may not want to ask us, which I think all are fairly relevant to the proposed transaction.
And just to clarify, of course, during public comment, we can't ask any questions or have a discourse. That would be in the closed session if you choose to have them join you in closed session to have that discussion. It can't be during public comment, of course. I just want to remind everyone that we can't do that here. That's all.
Perfect.
That
Thank you.
I'm gonna.
I was just going to say thank you so much. I think Karen's going to put you all back into the attendees. And then once we get to this particular item on the agenda, we will engage you again.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
Oop, sorry, the thing jumps around on me, so I don't want to send the wrong person back to attendees.
Yeah, don't do that.
Hold on 1 second.
That's when Tony
Right.
disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay, if we could do approval of the agenda.
I'll motion to approve the agenda as written.
I will second
We...
that.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we have a motion to approve the the meeting minutes from February 12th?
I have to abstain because I was not here.
Okay, I will motion to approve. Do we have a
I-
second?
I will second that.
Okay, we have one abstain. All those in favor?
I,
I think that's only two out of, I think that still passes because technically it's the majority of the three that are here. So, okay. And then on to, let's see, Josh is now here. Yay. So if we could promote Josh for the Finance Committee reports.
Hello,
Hey, Josh, how are you?
I'm well. How's everybody?
Doing pretty okay for a Wednesday.
I hear you. I hear you. As am I. We'll see how okay you guys are doing after we talk some audit and all that fun stuff.
Fun.
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
No problem. So we'll jump into the check register for February. Um, Nothing really of note that has any high significance as far as dollar values are concerned or like weird transactions. So I am pretty much open to any questions that you might have about any vendors. I know a couple of them are kind of just seasonal, such as Clifton Larson, that's our auditor. It's our last payment for our auditor, as well as um, Campanile Group, which you'll hear from them a little bit later on in this meeting. So those are kind of seasonal expenses that don't come up every month, but the rest of the expenses, for the most part, we see most if not every month. One of the bigger transactions that did occur is Sonatrol of El Paso, the $16,000 here. So that had to do with the security system at the school, and the school has since been reimbursed for this expense out of the loan money that the foundation was holding. So this is a complete wash here. The other Sonatrol of El Paso expenses of $450 are just the monthly security expenses. Other than that, ERB payments, which are monthly, and of course payroll and payroll taxes being the biggest expense for the school monthly. Any questions about any of the expenses that I can answer? Nope. Seeing none, I'll move on to the bank reconciliation for February. The school starting balance is around $402,000. At the beginning of the month, we had receipts of around $713,000 and disbursements of $795,000. School ended its balance at the end of the month at $321,268.77. We had outstanding payments totaling $10,866.35 and around $20,000 of voids for this month. It was voids from the previous year that we found that we had to void out this year. So that's why you see a void here, which you typically don't. We do have a difference in expected general ledger versus our general ledger due to a JE that we had to make this past month, in which a incorrect fund code was used, and we had to move that into operations. I'll show you the JE here. So this is the journal entry that was made, $28,847.42, and it was reclassification from fund code 24146 into 11,000, which is our operating fund. Is there any questions about the JE or bank
What-
reconciliation?
What
Yep.
account, I'm sorry, what account did it go to, from to, I
It
guess?
was it was an incorrect charter school fund account, so just not an account that the school holds at all.
Okay,
It was classified incorrectly. We caught it when we were doing the bank reconciliation, so we had to make the journal entry to correct it.
got it. Okay.
Any questions regarding the bank reconciliation or check register? No? Okay.
Do we have a motion to approve the financial reports?
I'll motion to approve the financial reports.
We have a second.
I'll second.
If we could do a roll call on this, Lino?
Claire Riley,
Yes.
Claire Mullo,
Yes.
Linnell Patty, yes.
Since Josh is already over here, should we just go ahead and do the bars and the audit and then bring in Lisa? Or does it make sense to bring in Lisa? Josh, I guess it's more
However you want to do it, one of the bars has to do with
with that.
Lisa. When
Got it.
I can
Okay.
say that for like the last bar if you want to bring Lisa in or first, however you want to
Yeah,
do it.
let's go ahead then and bring Lisa in and we'll go over the budget update, Josh, if you're all right with that, and then we'll move on to the bars after that.
Perfect.
Oh, here comes Lisa. There she is. Okay. Hi, Lisa.
Good evening, everybody. I was stuck in cyberspace, but I'm here now. So I'm going to go ahead. Do you want me to share the budget update form now, Karen?
I think, yeah, that's what you're going to explain, yeah? Or do you want me to share it?
Perfect. Yes, would you mind sharing it? Because I am currently in the car with after school activities. So yes, would you mind sharing it? That would be great.
I don't mind at all. Give me just a second.
So while she is starting to share that, I'll give you a little bit of an update. As you know, grants season is right now. So this grant was originally written towards the end of last year. And unfortunately, the school had some staffing shifts and some programmatic shifts in the area of CTE, which is our career technical education program. The grant that we're talking about is Fund Code 27502, and it is for that secondary Next Gen CTE grant. And we've worked closely with New Mexico PED to make sure that all of these changes could be accepted. And when we're talking about CTE, we really want to focus on students and what opportunities we'll be providing for students. So when it was originally planned, it was planned for a level 3 teacher. So the grant and salaries was written in for that amount, as well as some general supplies and software truly specific around cybersecurity and coding and different things. Unfortunately, that teacher that was planned for is no longer with the school. And we have another teacher who has taken over the CTE position, who is very much about providing kids with hands-on experience, work-based experience, career technical experience. But we were going to come up with an amount of money that was not covered because that teacher is a level 1 teacher and there was a difference in salary. And then the supplies was not needed. So we had about $28,858 that we needed to account for to provide opportunities for students that was not going to be covered in the level 3 salary and in the coding software and all the cybersecurity and tech materials that were planned to be purchased and written in the grant anyways. So we met with our CTE rep with PED, told them the situation and kind of brainstormed how we could still allot this money within the grant code and within the grant funding in order to provide experiences for these students based on the teacher that we now have. So the first 4 items on the buff are what we are decreasing that was originally planned for. And then the remaining items underneath it are what now we have been approved for. And in working with PED, the buff was approved by PED the day we submitted it because we had such a good plan in place that they knew that we were going to support it for students. And so right now, what we are looking at in this buff is it's not going to be the things at the top, but we want to continue to provide Adobe Suite software for students to work on. We want to get some more Apple iPads and Apple Pencils for them. And then what this CTE teacher is really big on right now is he's partnered with a CTSO, which is a career technical student organization called Skills USA. And he's providing lots of different opportunities, including after-school opportunities for students to build their workforce training skills in their career areas. And he's planning to take them to the state competition, which is coming up in 2 weeks. And so a lot of the materials on here are for that. So we want to pay for the advisor hotel for that state competition, and we want to buy about $7,000 of general supplies for that state competition, and also, pay for the travel to that state competition. So it's all about providing these students those opportunities. And so he's worked really hard to figure out what they're going to need for all of those wonderful skill-based opportunities that they would get at the state conference. And then in planning ahead, if they do very well in the state conference, we've budgeted some money in there to take them to nationals if they qualify for the National Skills USA conference. That, of course, we won't know if they do qualify until the very end. But in the chance that they don't, PED has said that we can do an additional buff to realign that money for something else so that we can continue to get our CTE money. So that kind of explains what the buff is and why we had to do it. That will prompt going into a bar, but if you have any questions on the buff, I will stand for questions at this time.
And just to clarify, buff is budget date form, I think.
Yes. And so you have to do that when you're moving different things. Like if it was salary to salary, it wouldn't be as extensive as this. But because we were also changing it out of cybersecurity into basically budget common to all areas, programs of study within CTE, we had to do the buff so that they knew where this money was then going. Does anyone have any questions before we turn it back over to Josh to talk about the bars?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Hi. So this is based on, I guess, the Skills USA is, I guess the way I understood it is that the teacher that's in there now that's his forte on the Skills USA, and therefore we're accounting for all of that. With this all, was this, I guess Dr. Hall is aware of all the changes on this and is agreeable to them?
Yes, Dr. Hall and I and Christian Aragon, who's actually the teacher who's doing this. We first met with Dr. Hall and our CTE state rep so that we could talk about how we had this $28,858 that we needed to account for. They gave us some opportunities and some ideas to brainstorm. And then Dr. Hall worked with Christian Aragon to talk about what his needs were, what his vision was for CTE for this year, and then created a spreadsheet with all of the information on it. So they've both been in connection working with it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Are there any other questions in terms of the budget update form that will drive the bar?
I do not. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for listening to the presentation, and I'll turn it back over to Josh for the bars.
You. Since we are talking about the CTE buff, this is the bar for said buff. As Lisa mentioned, none of the money is moving out of the budget. It's just moving around to different areas. Those areas were presented by Lisa, but this is what the bar looks like. Again, no money moving in or out, just moving into different objects. The other bars that we have to do with the audit and the audit's cash position. So we have to create bars as soon as the audit comes out to match exactly what the cash position is at the end of the year. As far as carryover, decreases, increases in certain areas and certain funds. This one is food services, where we had to decrease $3,957.13 out of the present budget to match that the cash position here of the audit. Um, this is an increase bar for non-instructional support, again, to match what the audit says as far as the cash position is concerned. Next, we have spaceport grant money that was found at the end of the year that was carried over into this upcoming year. So that's $16,875. I spoke with Tony about this particular grant and this money, so we plan on using this at the beginning of the next fiscal year, just so we're good on cash and it's all unaccounted for, and we're hoping to get more by the end of this year. She's kind of on top of it when it comes to all the other charter schools and how they receive this money. So we're hoping to get at least $16,000 by the end of this year to use. That'll carry over into next fiscal year. And instructional materials and special appropriations. This is an increase of that cash position of $2,729. And an increase of $5,758 in Fund 29102, which is private direct grants. It's SB9 state match cash, decrease bar $1,295.32. Again, to meet the cash position of the audit. And lastly, a decrease bar of $412,423.02 in rental land and buildings, so rent and lease for the school that matches the cash position of the school at the end of last fiscal year. Again, all these bars for the most part are matching the cash position of the school at the end of the last fiscal year, except for the maintenance bar, which will move money around in the CTE funds. Any questions about bars? Sorry, go ahead.
You're good. I was going to ask the same thing. So okay, do we have a motion to approve bar 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 22?
A motion to approve the bars as presented.
I'll second.
If we could do a roll call on that.
Clara Riley,
Yes.
Claire Mulhall,
Yes.
Linnell Packard.
And Josh, there's just a question in our agenda on whether there was a 15 or a 21. Do you have a comment on that?
I am looking at the agenda now. I see it. And number 9, so 15 and 21, those bars were voided. So you won't see them again. So it's not like they're in limbo or they're TBD. They're essentially voided. So they won't be part of this year's bars that will be presented.
Wonderful. And next we have the audit. Woohoo!
Right. Let me get all this stuff out of here. Okay. So we're going to be reviewing the audit and the audit findings for the most part. We corrected a lot of the audit findings from the past year, one being audit untimeliness, JE backup, benefit forms missing, bank reconciliation reimbursement funds, cash disbursements and POs, and budget authority. So those have been fixed from the previous year. So we are moving on to the findings that we had this year. We had 5 repeat findings, and those repeat findings doesn't mean that it was last year. It means it could have been 3 years ago, 4 years ago that these findings would pop up. So we have around 5 of these repeat findings. The categories are pretty large and vague, so a lot of the details could just roll up into one category. It could be $2 that is off, and then it runs into a finding into one of these categories. We're just going to review the categories and what happened and what's being fixed in FY25. So one of them is procurement noncompliance. We had a purchase of over $60,000 that didn't have the necessary documentation needed to be in state code. So right now the plan all of our plan is to make sure that we have all of the necessary documentation for any purchases over $60,000. This has been communicated to the school CPO, which overlooks this part of the school, and she's well aware of the necessity to get all necessary documentation, RFPs, things of that nature. So this will not be a repeat finding. Our second finding is internal
Can you
controls and
just-
cash receipts.
Just really quick, can you verify who the CPO is for the school right now?
Yes, Brittany Lovato is the CPO for the school.
Okay, and is she a staff member?
She is a ELN staff member.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, our next finding is internal controls and cash receipts. So whenever the school does receive any cash, it needs to have a receipt attached to that cash to give to the person that gave the cash to the school. Out of the test work of 6 samples, one of the samples was missing the said receipt. So right, I mean, this is, it happens, right? You could just misplace a receipt, but unfortunately, we need to be on top of these things as a office there at the school. So the plan is to have all the backup documentation necessary whenever the school does receive cash. And this one's a pretty big one, internal controls and cash disbursements. The auditors did find that a travel reimbursement of $841 not have proper review or approval. They found some third-party vendor reimbursements in totality of $62,343. Should not have been bought by another entity and then the school reimburses that entity. It should be purchased by the school outright. And then payroll, they found that 3 files did not contain a proper background check, or they cannot officially determine whether these people were compensated correctly. As far as the instance for travel reimbursements, we'll need backup documentation for any traveling that does occur. We'll make sure that does occur before reimbursing anybody for travel. As far as the third-party vendor reimbursements, that has since stopped. The school completely purchases any items that it uses by itself through Mineral Tree. As far as the payroll files are concerned, that's just working well with keeping backup documentations here when it comes to payroll and background checks, things of that nature. So we think we have a pretty good handle on all these items this year, and they shouldn't be a problem.
May I comment or ask a question?
Yes.
So can you go back to the other? Yeah. So I have concerns. I shared these with Josh already at our budget meeting earlier this week. And Josh, you were going to ask them to provide the names of the 3 files that didn't contain a contract nor the background checks. And the reason, I don't know if you have those names tonight, but if you could send those to me, because maybe you didn't have them at your location, but they don't have to be at your location. And I'm confident that we have background checks on every employee. I've been doing that since I started in 2021. I know that would still be a finding in this area because of other things on this list, but I do want to know which contracts you didn't have approved contracts and which ones didn't have background checks. And if those are the same or not, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to know the names so I can see why that happened and make sure that there's not something amiss. But I am confident that there aren't 3 staff at Las Cruces that didn't have background checks. Because since I started, we've been doing that. And in fact, I'm the only person who has access currently to the background checks for Las Cruces because of a problem with the state police issuing other accounts. So I would like to know the names. And I also would question why we weren't contacted if you didn't have a copy of, and I know it wasn't you, Josh, but if
No,
Axiom did, if Axiom didn't have have this information, why we weren't contacted to provide it? Because we have some files depending on the age, and I don't mean age of the person, but how long they've been employed at the school. Some are strictly hard copy, others are a combination of hard copy and electronic, and we're moving towards electronic as soon as we have a strong backup system in place. So I know that these exist somewhere. So I don't know why we weren't asked to provide them, and I would like to make sure we have them for those 3 people that are they found. So, um, as I said, I don't, do you have those names tonight, or can you get those to
I
us?
I can definitely get you those names, Karen. I don't have them tonight. I had to meet
Okay,
with our audit team to
thank
confirm
you.
those names and what exactly was missing. But I know we spoke about this
Yeah, no
this
problem.
past
It
Monday
was
about it,
just
and
it was just
it's still
Monday.
on my list. Yeah,
I just wanted the board to also know though that I have concerns about that because Bev and I are very thorough about this area, particularly the background checks. Um, and even all contracts, we've even before every site visit, we make sure that they're all in the files and signed. I don't know what went awry here, and I want to make sure it doesn't happen again.
absolutely.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know exactly how this audit does it, but a lot of the times it we either had to prepare that beforehand and provide that beforehand to the auditor, or give them access to all documentation that we had. And so the idea behind findings would be that it wasn't available when they went to do their field work. And so they normally, to my knowledge at least, do not actually reach out to you to get these things, because it needed to be either provided or in the files themselves that they had access to. But I could be incorrect on how this auditor does it. That's just how I've had experience in the past with auditors. And so it could be that we have it, but it wasn't readily available during the audit. That's why it would be a finding. But again, I'm not privy to exactly how this auditor works.
Sure, and my experience with auditors historically, um, because I've been involved in lots and lots, including at a traditional school district. Normally, when they're doing the audit, they will ask, "Hey, this is missing. Do you have it?" And if you can't produce it quickly or that same day, then yeah, okay, you don't have it. But even if not, then I still was not asked for background checks, and I'm sure that they're in the file. I mean, even I didn't know what Axiom was providing and to whom, and would have made sure they had what they needed if I'd have known. So,
And then Josh, can you clarify who the third party vendor is, please?
That would be I'll research this for sure, but I'm not completely certain, so I don't really want to say at this point, but I'll research and get back to the board of who the third party vendor is.
Okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, the next finding is financial close and reporting material weak, and it's a material weakness, fortunately. Um, the auditors found excess of expenditures that were um, not in the correct fund. They also found revenues that were not in the correct funds. Um, they also noted that some fund balances were off by a little bit, and then also the end of the year reconciliation did not match the end of the year bank statements. So there was a couple of things that they did find here as far as financial closings. In order to correct this, we did expand our accounting team here at Axiom, so we have more eyes on a lot of these things, especially when it comes to financial closing. We are now closing everything monthly instead of quarterly, so we are catching a lot of items that need to be adjusted. You did see the JE when I was presenting the financials. Little things like that do add up, and unfortunately, there's no materiality when it comes to New Mexico. They find $1 off, it'll be a finding, unfortunately. So when you see this $444.45 here on the bottom, you see that's just a small amount. That small amount equals a finding. So we do the best that we can when it comes to finding all these things. What we are getting better at is making sure that funds are properly accounted for and they don't go over balance. So that is how we are rectifying this year, and we think that our accounting team is a lot stronger because of it, and we shouldn't have really much of an issue. But again, if $1 is off, this could be a repeat finding. All right, cash management, budgetary matters. They found that expenditures were in the wrong fund here, and they were in excess in particular fund codes. So this is a lack of changing the budget as the school progresses, and creating enough bars to have budget authority over certain funds. We, again, expanding our accounting team, will do better in presenting bars that will make sure that the school has budget authority in excess for certain expenses and as well as revenue. And lastly, internal controls over journal entries. They noted journal entries did not balance by fund when it came to our accounting system. Our accounting system has since been upgraded to make sure that JEs, whenever they are initiated, are in complete balance, or else it will come back with an error code. So this has since been rectified since the fall. Any questions regarding the findings? Anything that we're doing to correct the findings for the FY25 audit? Okay, so as far as next steps, we're looking to clear any and all findings that come up in FY25. We think we are doing a pretty good job at that, and we're way ahead of the game when it comes to rectifying these findings. What to look forward to now is budget. Budget season is going to be upon us here pretty soon. So we're going to be starting those drafts and then working with Tony and the LN team to present the upcoming budget to the board. And that's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Josh. This is just a presentation, right? There's no, yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't think that we needed to vote on anything. Perfect. Yeah, appreciate it. It sounds like Axiom's making some changes, and it seems like they've been addressed if it was external of Axiom. I mean, this is with so many transactions and everything this school does, like having like only those findings is actually pretty good in my opinion. having gone through a couple of audits myself too. So okay, thank you so much.
Oh, I do want to add one
yes.
thing, which is most importantly, the school did receive an unmodified opinion, which is the cleanest opinion that you could get when it comes to the audit. So they showed no fraud and that the financial statements. So just wanted to add that little tidbit.
And that's what we want. That's what we want. No fraud, no funny business, right? Yep.
That's right.
Cool. Thank you so much, Josh. Really appreciate your time tonight. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
Linnell, did you have something to say? You had unmuted, so I just wanted to make sure.
No, thank you for sharing that with us, and glad to hear that everything was no fraudulent activity or anything like that. So it's great to hear. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Hull, you're up.
Hi, everybody. It's great to see you guys. Thank you for giving me the time tonight. Right. So Karen, can you please share for me the presentation just so it's easier? So
Sure, I
Thank
can
you.
do that. Give me just
Appreciate
a
it.
second. Of course.
And we're on spring break, just FYI. So our school's on spring break right now. Well, I'm at home, but I mean, so kids are out and teachers are taking a well-deserved break. So, and staff. All right, so I'd like to bring you this month's governing council report and just some things, just some updates on enrollment and marketing, which we just heard about budgetary items, and we know how important enrollment and marketing is. Obviously, the window's open. So we've increased to 200, this was as of the 6th, 245 applications. We get 2.58 apps a day, which is pretty remarkable, I think. And especially because a lot of this now is word of mouth of our families, and that's awesome. I mean, we do some Facebook, but it's not a lot of paid ads because we are saving money in that respect. So we do Facebook and word of mouth and just some post my own Facebook as well. And that gets posted to the Explore Academy Facebook for Las Cruces. So, that's awesome. And it's just really exciting because that says a lot about our families and how they're getting information out. So 2.5 apps a day. Awesome. Intent to return is still holding about 91%, which again, as a leader, I just think that says a lot to what we're doing and how people are feeling about our schools. Well, our school, but both campuses included. So that's taking both campuses into account. And we see a little bit of transferring happening in 8th grade because I think a lot of kids want to try a bigger, more comprehensive high school. But then we're seeing an uptick. This is just an interesting note in 10th grade. So I don't know what that says, but maybe they want to try and then they come back. I don't know. So we're seeing a lot of apps at 10th grade and of course at 6th and 7th. So our really at the secondary level, 6-12 next year, which is exciting. We have 9 12th graders, rising 12th graders for next year at this point, but we will accept students in 12th grade, of course, if they have all the credits and they're on, on the road to graduation. But yeah, most of the school at Del Rey, 6-12 is 6th and 7th grade. And then 8th grade too is high, but 9th grade's a little less. So yeah. The lottery is March 18th. That's next Tuesday. So it's pretty exciting. So the way that works and all the information's on our website if anyone asks about it. But basically parents or families are given a number and that number corresponds to the application and it's randomized and it's on a Zoom next Tuesday night. And then they will find out, they will get a letter saying you've been accepted. And that's our initial wave of acceptance applications. Then of course we just do a rolling enrollment. So after the lottery, it's not like we don't accept anybody, of course. We look at how many spots now do we have in each grade and we roll kids in on a first come, first apply basis. Some of the things I want you guys to know about because we know, due to delays in the building and all that, we're not going to have any of those problems this year. We're going to be starting very close to when LCPS starts because they've changed their calendar. We haven't, I want to bring the calendar to you guys next month. But I've been doing some surveys with our families and our staff because I think that's really important to get the pulse of our families and our staff. And so, but it will help that we won't have those delays. But I want you to know also is that we've also tightened up the enrollment process where once families are accepted and they get that letter, they have a week to get their stuff done. So that's really, and we'll help them. We'll help them. And we're also going to have some orientations to help them as well. So more support along the way so that we engage families from the start. Claren, do you have a question?
I do real quick, just since you mentioned the calendar.
Yeah.
And of course that'll be at a future meeting when that gets approved and everything.
Yeah.
But are you also considering changing the start and end time since Las Cruces Public Schools has changed that for this year?
So we asked, great question. And so we asked in our survey, and so far most staff and families do not want to change that because what I've noticed is for LCPS, like for example, middle school goes till about 4:15 now, or next year. And so that wasn't something that was well liked. So we can talk about it. I can have a few different options and then I can present those to you. But so far, just from my survey that I sent out, that's not something that they really like, that late of a late start, because the problem is a lot of families, look, we have kids right now that show up at our school at like 7:15. So that'd be a long time for them to wait. We do let them in at 7:30. If it's cold out, we let them in right away, but normally 7:30, because that's when our staff shows up for duty. But we let them in if it's cold or raining or whatever with weather. But yeah, that'd be a long time to wait. Now, if there was overabundance of people wanting that, we'd have to figure out maybe a 0 hour or something like that. It's just we have to then coordinate the elementary, because the buses are they run 15 minutes staggered. So but that's a good point, and I did put that on the survey to see what people thought. So far, they are liking our hours the way they are, but we'll see. I can do a few different versions of the bell schedule so you can take a look at it.
Yeah, well, and I thank you for that, just because, I know we like to try to stick to Cruces's schedules, when we can. So good that you're asking parents already and
Yeah,
looking at that. So thank you.
you're welcome. And I think one of the hardest things is the 4:15. That's pretty late. And I think they start at like 9 or something like that, or 8:45. Yeah. All right. Again, so rolling enrollment and rolling enrollment. That's a tongue twister after the lottery. So we will continue our marketing. We will continue to reach out to families and do our info sessions. We have 2 next week again. And so, it's, we're just continuing on getting kids. But the thing is that we really want to increase the amount of support, because we know that was an area, and engagement, because we believe that once you meet our staff, once you meet our families, and all of the staff and teachers and support staff, kids are going to want to come to Explore Academy. So, all right, next, we did a town. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, like, for the K-5, you don't have
Yeah.
as many seats available there, right? Because of the space and the limited
Oh,
seats with the
I
kids
guess I
returning?
should have added, we don't have as many at certain grades. So like kindergarten, we are expanding though each grade. So we'll probably,
Okay.
what we're thinking right now is going at least one more teacher at each of the K-5 grades. So I think that's about 50. It's a little different at kinder just because 13 is the cutoff before you need to have an educational assistant in the classroom. And so, so we're looking at that. And so another thing to know, because last year we had the reduction in force, is that, until those students are enrolled, the numbers we'll be looking at are the live numbers, and that's how we'll be hiring people. So if you look on our website right now, there's a ton of openings. You see them there because we project that we'll need that. But if we don't need, then we won't hire. So that's really important to know too, even if we have to wait a little bit till after the start of school. But we want to make sure, that we are keeping up with that as well. For the town hall focus for this past month in February, it was about communication. Now, these town halls, either they have 10 people or they have 1 person. So like last month we had 1, but they had it's a great, I hope that they increase in the number of people that come. But you know what, if we're helping one family that comes and answers questions and we're there till 7 o'clock, it's great. So we talked a little bit about communication, and we wanted just to highlight this is so many different outgoing communication channels that we have at Explore Academy Las Cruces. So we have the website, we have the newsletter, that's weekly. And also that's not even, I didn't even include the newsletters from each of the classrooms, like at the elementary. I know teachers do their own newsletters, and well, this is like, we're talking school level. Google Classroom, teacher level, Power School, the handbook, tech support classroom. We have created, our tech support has now created a classroom so that they can go in and parents can even ask questions in there. And then the Dragon Degrees classroom is new because now we're going to have our 12th graders. And so that is to help them with dual credit. We had DACC come in last Friday. to talk to our kiddos about that. So that's a place where our registrar she asked to have a classroom. And so kids can go in there, ask questions. She posts information to get our kids ready to graduate. So that's pretty exciting. And then of course, progress reports are more outgoing. Those are weekly progress reports for secondary and quarterly for every 22 days. So each term is sent out for the elementary, but next year we're looking to increase that maybe to every other week or even every week. It's just a little different with the littles. They don't things don't change as quickly as when you have a 22-day term like in secondary. Okay, and then incoming communication tools, super important that parents know about this. We have Bark, we have Go Guardian. These are things that kids can get on the Stop It app and they can report things. Parents can too. These are all things that come in, information that comes into us that helps. And then committees, we have the Equity Council, we have the Parent Advisory Committee, we have the SHAC, which is the Student Health Advisory Committee. So we just wanted to highlight some of these things that there's so many ways to communicate with us and us with our families. And so I think it's really important, and Smart Pass as well. So that's also another way for it's actually students that communicate if they need to talk to the nurse or they're going to go to a counselor. And so there's lots of ways that we communicate on campus and off campus. And so that's super important that I wanted to share that with our parents. And for next month, probably it will be about the house system again, just because of the fact that we are going to be sorting our kiddos at the secondary level at the end of March. So, and then the littles will be sorted in May. So when we talked with Mr. Gomez, we felt like that was best. So, and our big kids will go over to the elementary to help. Some will go to help with that. So super exciting. Facilities, really quick. Security upgrades. I know that Josh talked about some of the bills from Sonatrol. So just like at Telshore with key fobs and swipe cards, we're going to have a key fob at Del Rey. We're getting those, but there's been a lot of upgrades, of course, with the magnetic doors and alarm system and all that. So that's really been exciting and really important. Do we want to do more in the future? Of course, we'd love to have a gate so that people don't come in and use our parking lot and things like that. But that's the next phase. Playground installation at Telshore is happening next week. It was supposed to be this week, and they keep pushing it off. Next week, the stuff is there. It's been sitting there. It's pretty awesome. It's got 2 slides. This is something that I chose. I felt like it was like forever ago, but finally, it got delivered, and we've just been waiting for them to come install it. And it's got 2 slides. It's got a little mini rock wall. It's got the, I don't know what you call it, monkey bars, or I don't know what things, chin up things, and things for little kids, things for older kids. So 5th graders are going to love it. And actually, when I mentioned it to we have a group, a club that Mr. Zapata and I do with our kiddos, and we talked about it, and they wanted to go play on the playground. So that's high school and middle school. They thought it was awesome. And so in the future, I do want to just add that in this next part here, in the future, we'd love to have some big kid outdoor equipment, outdoor spaces. They have like those exercise things. You've seen them like around town where there's outdoor just exercise stations and maybe like a little ninja thing. We talked to the kids about that. That'd be super cool. So that's really important, that physical education part. But we did do a survey of our families, and number one for them is small class sizes. When it comes to facilities, they want the smaller classes. So for smaller classes, you need more spaces to have classes and more teachers, obviously. And so, it's getting a little tight at Del Rey, planning more students next year. Telshore, it's going to be fine for the expansion of about 100 more kids at that campus. At Del Rey, with 100 more kids, yes, we can do it. But there's going to be a sharing of classrooms, which is not that most optimal way to do our model, because we know flavor is about immersion in the flavor and teachers being able to use their classroom as part of their learning experience. So, that's going to be a challenge. And I know that's something we'll talk about in facilities, but also parents felt and families felt extracurricular spaces. When I say that, they didn't always think a gym. like it doesn't have to be a gym. And so like I kind of call it a gymatorium, where it's like it could be an athletic place, but also like a place for families. Because we've been doing some ceremonies and recognitions, and we have been full in the cafeteria. And you know what? I don't love families having to sit on a cafeteria table. That's not fun. But it would be really nice to have something that's more of a gymatorium or some kind of multi-purpose space, which I think is, it's not even a like, it's a need, because like the other day we had DACC, we had LCPD. Oh, that's another thing. They came in to talk about vaping dangers with our kiddos, and they're going to be coming back. It was great, but we just don't have enough spaces for these things to happen concurrently. And so that was a problem. So we had to move one of the things and move something else. And it's really important for our model that we're able to gather. And I think I've talked about that before. But that's just some of the facilities. Celebrations, really quick. The honor roll celebrations have been such a success. Parents, families have showed up. I mean, it's only about a half an hour that they're there, 45 minutes. But having families in the buildings has been an amazing thing for us. I mean, well, it's a certificate, it's some cookies, and our kids come down, and it's a big deal. Kids come up to me the week of, and they're like, "Can you check my grades? Make sure I think I got it. I got it." And we did have a few errors when we pulled the report, but we're correcting that, so we got everybody their certificates. But it's just thanks to all the families for coming, and we're going to continue to have more of those things, especially when we have more spaces, because it's tight. We have to do it on 2 separate days because I can't have middle school and high school families together because it's just too tight, not enough places to sit. But I always tell them that they're your child's first teacher, the family, and so it's super important. They're just as deserving of the award. And then Dr. Seuss Week, I got to read in like 5 classrooms last Tuesday at Telshore. It was awesome, but there were events going on every single day for Read Across America. The most important thing that kids can do at home is read, and that's what I tell them, and that's the #1 thing kids need to be doing. So thanks to everyone that promotes that. It should be every week that we need to promote reading and getting books in the hands of kids. And so that's definitely one of the things that we want to do more of. And we're super excited to continue that. We're going to have a book fair too at the secondary level because kids were asking about that. They had it at the Telshore campus. We're going to have it at the secondary campus in April. So that's going to be exciting as well. And that's all I have to celebrate right now, I think. But it's just we feel like we've really come a long way. And so thank you guys for your support. Appreciate it. But definitely more kids are coming. So we definitely need more spaces for kids. So thank you guys. If you have any questions or anything, I'll be glad to answer them. Well, thank you so much.
Well, is it okay if I go on to the next section then?
Yes, sorry. Yes, please.
That's okay. Mine will be very quick, because there's not too much to share, and I know you've got a long closed session discussion for today. But after the site visit from the school, we were provided with, this is in our performance framework, but basically how they rate the school on all of the individual indicators. These blue is only available to succeed standard for your mission goals, which I think we did exceed last year. If not, we've always met the goal. But meet standard, working to meet, does not meet, or not applicable. That'll be on the final report. What all we get now after the site visit is basically there's only one thing they were able to meet standard, and I'll show you that in just a second. But everything else is pretty much more data needed, no issues identified. If they found an issue, they would say follow-up is required and ask us to provide that follow-up, or area of concern and ask for the follow-up. But mostly it's no more data needed, no issues identified. That means they didn't see any problems while they were at the school in that area, But if another bureau or somebody complains about, I don't mean an individual, but like, let's say special ed reports to the charter schools division that there's been a special ed complaint, or the assessment bureau says we didn't test enough kids, that would influence our ratings on the final report. So the preliminary report, are you seeing that now? Did it switch? Oh no, it didn't switch at all, did it? So let me try that again. Were you first seeing, it's okay, it does switch. Okay, so this is the preliminary report that we received based, all of the indicators are listed in the left column. And as you can see, they found that we are meeting our mission and material terms of our charter application, unless something comes up that we meet standard. But everything else is either not applicable or they're holding out till the end of the year to make sure nobody complains or says anything else to us. So you can review this as you want, but really there's nothing at this point to really discuss. They will give us a final report later after we submit mission goals at the end of the year and they get the data and close out the report. We may not get the, like in the past, we may not get the academic data until fall because that's when the accountability system comes out. So those first two, but everything else we should get this July. And the only thing they noted here was that they had a licensure discrepancy issue, which we were able to show has been resolved at the visit. So nothing to worry about it yet, but they hold prerogative to change our ratings at any time. They didn't really rate yet. Do you have any questions about this preliminary report? Okay. So then the next thing on, oh, that's from site visit. As I said, the final report will not be received till after EOY. The next item on the agenda is not something I need to go over. That's provided for you to see what kinds of things have been being worked on or completed, going to be worked on or completed in the last month by the ELS team. What I would ask board members is when you see those, if you have any questions about any of the activities on there and would like someone from the team to come explain it, I just need to know and we'll invite them to a meeting. And then the board policies just are standing. If you want to review and let me know which ones you'd like to review next, I'll be happy to put that on a business item in the future. So that's all on my updates, unless there are questions.
I do not have any questions at this time. Does anybody else?
And then I would just share, Chair, that regarding the first two items of governing council business, one, you'd already advised me that we should probably have removed that, but I just left it noted there. And
That's fine.
I have not heard anything about additional board members, haven't received any resumes or interests, so I assume we don't have anything for A or B. But I defer to you if you do.
That is correct. Just an update on that. I do have a couple of people that are potentially interested, so I plan to meet with them here soon just to give them more information on that because I just posted it on social media, to be honest. So they were just like, hey, I'm interested. And I was like, cool, let's set up a time to meet. So I do have a couple that may be interested. And so yeah, just it for everyone else, if you have anybody in mind, you can also shoot them my way and I'd be happy to reach out and see if they're interested in joining. So just let me know as we continue to excuse me, recruit additional board members.
I do think Dr. Hull had a couple of people she was looking at too, but we don't have anything to bring forth at this time, to my knowledge. So, Chair Rayleigh, I do have a one pager about being on our board and what's required. It explains the training and the meetings when they're held and those kinds of things. If you'd like to share that with anyone who expresses interest. Also, I'm happy to meet with them and answer any questions. If you'd like me to take that off your plate, happy to do that. Just let me know.
Yeah,
I'll
if you
send you.
would send me the one pager, that would be great. And then if there's anybody that I'm like, hey, yeah, meet with Karen for more onboarding, I'll definitely shoot them your way.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't be onboarded till you voted them on.
Well,
I
yeah,
can, yeah, okay.
additional information. Sorry, yeah,
Sure. Yeah,
onboarding. There we go.
yeah.
Pre-boarding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the next order of business is our sorry, the facilities conversation. At this time, if it could be me, Claren, and Linnell, and then I do believe Karen, once Justin joins, if you would, sorry, Dustin joins. Geez, too many Ustins. Once Dustin joins, if you could shoot him over to the closed session, that would be great. And actually, Tony, come on over too. And then we'll do a little introduction, and then I'll have Karen, is it okay if I text you to have John head over at that time? Or John, if you actually want to just head over to the waiting room, that's probably easier. So we'll just have you wait in the waiting room, and then we'll let you in once we're ready for questions.
So I will send the invitation to all of you,
Perfect.
Dustin and the two gentlemen that spoke in public comment, because I got their emails from the public comment notice earlier. And then they can just stay in the waiting room till you're ready to bring them in.
That's perfect.
Can I ask that when I'm just kind of curious about the answers to all those questions. When they're presenting, could you let me come in as well, or is that not allowed?
I don't think that there's anything against it, so I will I'll just make sure that we've kind of gone over everything, and then I'll let you in.
Okay, then I'll be waiting in the waiting room too. So I'm sending you the link to the closed session meeting, as we always
Perfect.
do, but just for our guests out there, you should get an email. I'm also going to put it in the chat here for you all. Remember again that I'm going to pause the recording here and mute and go to another computer. So I will get there as quickly as I can. But here's the link in the chat. Also, you would have gotten an email. I just want to remind you that when you leave the closed session and if you're struggling to get back into this session, check your email for the registration link if you're having any trouble. For some reason, some people can come right back in, others cannot. I don't know why.
Okay, do we have a motion to go into closed session before I forget to do the motion?
I'll motion to go into closed session.
I'll
Do I have a
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. I was about to like just go right over, and I was like, wait, I gotta get that. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hello, there we go.
Do we have a motion to return to open session?
I'll motion to return to open session.
I'll
We have a second. Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Okay, do we have a motion to simultaneously refinance the Telshore building and purchase the Del Rey building, in addition to rejecting at this point any ongoing property management fees or anything of the like, and approving the $25,000 ELS upfront fee that has been presented? Do
I
we have
motion that we approve the negotiations that were discussed in closed session.
what I just said? Yeah.
Yes.
I second that.
Can we do a roll call, please, Member Pahi?
Sorry, Sarah Riley,
Yes.
Christine Reyes,
Yes.
Karen Mulhall,
Yes.
Linnell Packey, yes.
Okay, motion passes. I do believe Are there any additional, board comments at this time? So unfortunately, one of our amazing board members that has been serving on the board since the beginning is resigning as of April 1st. So member Mulhall, we're so thankful for your service to our board, and we are very sorry to see you go, but definitely understand that sometimes things happen. So thank you so much for your service again. And I don't believe we have to vote on anything. I just wanted to state that's occurring and make sure that was in our comments going forward.
I just want to, if I may, Claren, I'm going to miss you. I so enjoyed having you on this board, and your knowledge of Explore model and what you've contributed has been very much appreciated. And I could always rely on you to be at meetings or to go to the site visits or whatever it was. And so I'm going to miss you terribly. I wish you weren't leaving. But I certainly do understand. We do have technically 30 or 45 days to replace her position. Yeah, so we will work on that, but someone to take your place, but no one to fill your shoes. Yeah. I will miss you. Well, I would ask if we have trouble filling your seat by the April meeting, would you be willing to stay on even if it's a name only until we can get another person?
We can definitely, I can definitely consider that, and as we get closer, it'll just kind of depend upon how my health situations continue or hopefully not continue. As
think
we,
that's
as we
probably
approach
more.
it. So I don't feel comfortable making the guarantee that I can, but
Sure.
I am
And
open to
we certainly have some people in the wings, I think, from Dr. Hall and Claire and Chair Rayleigh. So hopefully we can get that done and it won't be an issue at all. But I do want to say wish you well with your health and hope that you get well really soon and want to come back to us maybe.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate all of you for being on the board, some of you as long as I have. And just supporting the school. We need models like this for our students.
Okay. Any other board comments? Not that I don't want to follow that up. I just want to adjourn. But any other board comments at this time?
It's been a pleasure serving with you, Claren.
Thank you.
Okay. Unless Mr. Zapata has something to say to the public at this time, and you can raise your hand if you do. You certainly can. You're part of that public comment area. And I'll give him 2 seconds. Okay, I'm not seeing any. Do we have a motion to adjourn Claren's last official meeting?
I'll motion to adjourn my last meeting.
Do we have a second?
I will second that.
All those in favor? Or should we keep it
Aye.
going? Just kidding.
Keep it going so Claren can't resign.
Just keep it ongoing.
He's already
Continue to do what is that, a stay of oh gosh, what is it?
Filibuster,
Recess.
yeah.
Yeah, we
stay
just
of
continue
recess.
to recess forever. Just kidding. Okay, thank you guys so much. We will see you at the April 9th meeting.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all very much.
Bye.
Right.
Good night.